What's good everyone on YouTube? It's me again, back with another video. And for this sneaker review, we're actually switching it back to Adidas. And we are talking dad shoes or chunky shoes. I'm pretty sure dads aren't wearing things like this. But, you know, it's neither here or there. Let's get on with it. So, Adidas, I would say, was probably one of the first to kind of catch on to this chunky shoe trend with the Yeezy 700, especially in that Wave Rider colorway. I distinctly remember, myself included, not really understanding what this shoe was supposed to be. I just thought it looked strange, disgusting. And now, I think like 2 years since its release, fat shoes have just become sort of a staple in fashion today. And Adidas has introduced some knockdown versions or just cheaper, more affordable versions for the everyday person. And with this silhouette, the Young One, they've actually collaborated with certain store locations. So we had, I think there was like the Soulbox Young One, Sneakers and Stuff had one as well. Size had an exclusive yellow pair, the Acid House, which I actually quite liked, even though yellow's not my thing. And End, actually, which is the one we have here today, collaborated on the Young One. So, without further ado, today we have the Adidas x End Young One in the Atmosphere colorway. And with the intro out of the way, let's get into the box. So, because of this Atmosphere theme and special edition, we actually get quite a nice sort of special edition box. So, there's no sort of real branding on this shoe box except for on the side where the sort of product label would be. So it's actually just a sort of skyline photo, I would say. You got the clouds on the bottom that fades into space, and then when you look at the top of the box, you've got End written in its typical sort of typeface, and you've got the stars, which is kind of pretty. And this is a sort of flip, a lid box, which just comes off like that. And then inside we've just got standard wrapping paper with Adidas plastered in really sort of like pea yellow. I don't think it's going to show up on the camera. And the shoes weren't actually stuffed with any sort of paper or anything. But attached on one of the shoes, we actually got a pair of extra rope laces with 3M spread out in the middle. And that is pretty much all there is to this box. And if we go to, there is actually, an interesting thing is there is no real label, but there is the standard sort of sticker that End likes to throw onto each of their shoes. But if we just look at the side, it's Young One Atmosphere. So, in terms of retail price, what they've marked here is £119. When I ordered these off End's website, I used Australian dollars, and I think it came out to around 193 Australian dollars. I'll find the exact figure and put the conversion here. And for the special edition, standard Young Ones I think in Australia are about 180, so for an extra $15 or so, not a bad play in my opinion. So, with the box out of the way, let's get into the shoes. And here we are. The Adidas x End Young One in the Atmosphere colorway. So the most defining feature of the Young One, I must say, is this multi-layered upper. You've got all these interesting cuts and shapes along the shoe. And this is most apparent on the toe box actually, where you've got like 3 layers that make up these really nice sort of curves. So you've got the base layer mesh, you've got this sort of felt layer toe guard, I would say. And then on top of that, you've got this sort of suede mudguard that is in a contrast sort of light blue colorway, which gives it a really nice sort of aggressive feel to it. And to go with the Atmosphere theme, we've actually got this sort of like light blue in complements with the dark blue, as well as this like paisley sort of seafoam kind of color. And I think the colors actually play off each other really nicely on this shoe. And we've got some interesting details when it just comes to the co-branding. So on the tongue, we've actually got we've got the End logo, and then on the other shoe, actually, we've got the Adidas logo, but on the insoles, we've got End on this particular pair, and then on the left shoe, we've actually got the Adidas logo. So that's pretty much like the main things about the End Young One per se. I will mention that the lace tips actually have co-branding, well not co-branding, they've got End's branding on it. So I don't know if that's going to pick up, but we've actually got End written on the ends of the laces. Ends of the laces, ha ha ha. So that pretty much covers the main features of the Young One. Now, in terms of cushioning, there's nothing really special going on in this shoe. This is a pretty standard, I think, EVA or file on foam. And for the price point, I can't expect too much, but we'll get more into comfort later in the video. Now, in terms of sizing, I'm gonna say this right now, Young Ones 100% fit big. I usually wear a US 9.5 in almost all my shoes, but the Young One, I can easily fit in a size 9. So that is what I did. I bought these in a size US 9 and they fit me perfectly. So I would say for anyone who's going for a Young One, I would highly recommend going a half size down in these shoes. Now, in terms of comfort, there really isn't much to say about the comfort of this shoe. The EVA is really sort of stiff and standard. The insole is actually rather lackluster. And the upper it's decent enough. Like, this multi-layer upper does make it a little more difficult to flex, but it's okay to say the least. I would just say it really kind of feels like a shoe from the past. Nothing too special. It just works, I guess. However, now we get into the part of the video where I talk about my opinions on this shoe. And for the price point, I actually really appreciate Adidas sort of putting out a chunky shoe that is accessible to way more people. Because if we look at some of the more trendier chunky shoes, like the 700s, or even those Balenciaga Triple S's, I still hate them by the way, or the track sneakers from Balenciaga, weird, I actually like those ones. They're all like punching well above 300 AUD. I mean, the Balenciagas are hitting well above 1000 AUD. So for 190, so like basically 200 AUD, you can get yourself a pretty decent looking sort of chunky or dad shoe. And in this particular atmosphere colorway, I just think the colors are beautiful on this shoe. Blue is my favorite color, by the way. And this sort of teal sky blue is one of my favorites as well. So for me, this was like a no-brainer. And I love the shapes on the Young One. So overall, I would just say stylistically, I love this shoe. But I guess I don't love it enough because they are still dead stock. So yeah, seems like I just have a bunch of shoes that I haven't worn yet. But now we're at the end of another video. So I would love to hear what your thoughts are on the Young One and what your favorite Young One colorway is so far. I will say, I think I might prefer the Frieza, the Dragon Ball Z Young One, but I actually own that pair for a little bit, but I just found that colorway was something I would never wear. It was just nice to look at, but that was about it. But I'd love to hear what your favorite Young One is down in the comments. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. And now, time for the on feet portion, and I'll catch you guys in another video.